Okay, dear friends in Dhamma, we are going to start the second Dhamma discussion. So, as usual, we have received a couple of questions, so we'll start with the written questions.
Avasara Bhante, we have received 4 reports today. The first report has 3 sections. I'll read separately.
Fine.
Theruvan Saranai Bhante, sitting meditation. I was in a sitting position where my 2 souls touch each other, keeping the feet on the tile floor. I felt the sensations of the coldness of the tile and slowly the coldness reducing but completely not vanished. Mind then jumped to the 2 souls which are touching each other. I felt some warmth and slowly the existence of 2 separate souls vanished and it felt like a one object. While further observing, some random pictures and images occurred and it brought my mind just in front of my eyes, just like a TV screen. Again, mind went back to the souls and the same sensation of 2 separate souls were felt. However, this phenomena happened within about 10 to 12 minutes, I guess. Most of the time, as soon as I close my eyes, these pictures and various images appears in the mind as on a TV screen. But I, however, try to find a place in the body to cling, but does not last long. Sometimes feel that I am not successful in sitting meditation. Also, I go to sleeping mode very soon too. I raised this question last time also and appreciate your further guidance to improve.
May I know who has written it? Yeah. Can you come forward for a moment? Yeah, there also. So basically, question is, you are observing various bodily phenomena, that means element characteristics. Is that what you are focusing?
Yeah, so I was just keeping the 2 souls like this. So,
right.
So I tried to then my foot here touches the tile, and then I was just feeling it. I was keeping my eyes closed. So once I come into the soul, after a few minutes later, I observed that the feeling, the warmth gone, and it's just one thing. Yeah. And suddenly these pictures comes in front of me.
So when that particular object disappeared? Yeah,
so then the mind...
So what are these, the pictures?
It's various random pictures. I can't recognize any of them.
Then fine. Now just ignore them. Only few things that we can learn. One thing is, as we continue the practice, so everything, we at the beginning things are difficult to recognize because we don't have enough mindfulness and concentration. And once we build up enough mindfulness and concentration, now we have the capacity to distinctly recognize many phenomena. That's the next stage. Now, as we further progress, now these phenomena start very much like blurring and mixing, and you can't now distinguish them what it is. It is common even for Chitta, the Kayanupassana, it's common even for Vedananupassana. Now say for example, you are practicing Vedananupassana, at the beginning you can recognize, okay, this is a pleasurable feeling, this is a painful feeling, this is a equanimous feeling, so likewise. But later you may understand, okay, there are merely feelings. I can't distinguish whether it is a happy feeling or a painful feeling or equanimous feeling, but it's mere feeling because they quickly come and go, quickly disappear. It's very difficult for me to recognize whether it is this or that. That's all right. So then actually what we need to do is that without putting a label to it, we simply see how they are quickly arising and passing away. So that become more prominent than giving it a label. So that's all right. And on the other hand, that what you have recognized as the different pictures, so that happens because now as these phenomena disappear or fade away, so the consciousness don't have enough footing. So it wants some food in a way. So it is taking all that past memories and all whatever the stored information available in the mind now pops up. And if we get caught up with them, then again we roll back. So don't give much prominence to this. Just slowly recognize them. Okay, they are just illusions. They are merely mirage. and simply come back to whatever the sensations, bodily sensations available.
Yeah.
Then you can slowly overcome. I mean, they may slowly fade away, go away.
Yeah, it's really can't understand what are those like. I
Fine.
can't give a label also like.
Fine.
Some are unidentifiable objects like animal or something,
Fine,
and
fine.
then
Many things,
something
things.
are totally
Yeah.
random.
No problem. Just ignore them because they are the ones. Basically, I mean, in our deep consciousness, they may be stored or kind of imaginary things are there. So likewise, mind finds something to hook up with, so to cling on to. So we should not give that opportunity. So it is our duty to use the sort of wisdom to ignore them, not allowing the mind to sort of find a footing, allow this process to continue without getting involved.
And also like it doesn't last long, and then I tend to sleep also. Like it's the same thing happens when I'm sleeping also. As soon as I close my eyes to go to sleep, so for about 10 to 15 minutes the same phenomena happens, and then I go to sleep. Now when I come to sitting meditation also, so when
are you falling asleep at this level also?
Sometimes I fall asleep also because it's the same pattern that I go to sleep as well.
Correct. Maybe because thing is now as we are falling asleep, usually we are kind of weakening the mindfulness. So if we have sharp mindfulness, then we can't sleep. So that's a two sides are there, because mindfulness is fully awakening us, always vigilant, diligent. So if you during the night while you are at bed, if you are keeping very sharp mindfulness, you can't fall asleep. So at that time you have to naturally allow mind to little bit become dizzy and drowsy and little lethargic, and ultimately you sleep. So when you are doing that, maybe that random thoughts can happen and little bit of these images can happen. So it's a sign that you are losing mindfulness. No problem, but you need sleep than mindfulness now. So it doesn't matter. I mean, I feel things are okay. Just continue the practice. I mean, here that various images don't grasp, so that you need to ignore, discard, and come back to the body, and then things will naturally unfold. Yeah.
Mindful eating. Mindful eating. Giving merits to whoever offered the food, I started eating the food. Once the food is in the mouth, I was chewing it, moving it around the mouth. I felt different tastes, sensations such as saltiness, spices, creaminess, etc. All these sensations immediately vanished as I swallowed the food. Felt some hard thing going down through the throat. Then again got some food into the mouth and was able to do it until the whole food plate is eaten. Realization comes that it is only the small tongue that we are trying to please all the time by searching for different food types with various tastes, where no taste can be felt after passing it through 2 to 3 inches beyond the tongue. Wanted to share my observations.
Yes, good, correct. So basically that's what very interesting phenomena actually explained in one sutta, Unnaba Brahmana Sutta. So there are one Brahmin, he's a kind of a wise person, and he come and ask from the Buddha. Now, eyes can only see the vision, the objects, the forms. Eyes can never hear sounds. Eyes can never feel the taste or something like that. Similarly, the ears can only hear sounds, but it can't see things. It can't taste things. Nose can only recognize odors. It can't see things. It can't hear things. Or tongue can only recognize tastes. It can't hear things. It can't see the things. Similarly, the body can only recognize whatever the bodily sensations. It can't see things. So likewise, they have their particular domain to work on. But the interesting question that he's asking from the Buddha is now these things won't last. So as you said, after eating and we drink some water, everything gone. But someone is in the background are very much like eating them. All these data, what we are accumulating, what we are grabbing through our senses, who is that? So that's the question he is asking. What do you think? That's the mind. Yeah. So Buddha answers. So all to these different bodily sensations, what we are taking through the eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, so they won't exist for a long time with those faculties. They are merely senses. But whatever they are taking in, ultimately giving interpretations, attachments, defilements, our own stuff, likes and dislikes, this is good, this is bad. So those are all the functions of the mind. So mind is the one consuming them, and ultimately, developing a lot of defilements in a way. Though these senses are mere physical components. Simple as that. Trapped, exactly. Yeah, again and again searching, and so whatever the most pleasing ones, or most appealing ones, ultimately get stored in the mind. So whatever the, promoting a lot of defilements. So that is the part we memorize. Ultimately, once, even though we have done eating, so probably later you get memories. Tongue has no taste at all. It's a funny thing in a way. It has done its job and everything gone, but now mind is working and thinking that I better order that same thing food tomorrow also. Something like that.
When you order it again, the taste different.
Then you start blaming. So these marketing people, they are only the first time they are delivering the best thing. The next time they change it, they're getting inferior. So you start complaining. Yeah, we'll go.
This is the third part, walking meditation. The mind is observing the soles on the ground and feeling different sensations on the go. Sometimes rough, sometimes smooth, and sometimes sharpness of edges on the tile. Usually thoughts come here and there but doesn't stay long, and mind is back to the soul again. Need your advice to improve further. This is my first residential retreat, but I have participated many one-day retreats earlier, staying away from many things outside the retreat center, such as family, friends and work, giving me different thoughts and realizations with metta.
Yeah, just continue. Whatever that experience related to the sensations or that walking experience, that's quite valid. So it's a matter of further and further maximizing it. Yeah, good.
Report number 2, Avasarai Bhante. During seated meditation, while observing my breath, after some time, I felt like I shifted to a peaceful state of the body and mind. This shift, I actually felt. It was like I stepped into a different place.
Can you repeat from the beginning?
During seated meditation, while observing my breath, after some time, I felt like I shifted to a peaceful state of body and mind.
Mm-hmm.
This shift, I actually felt. It was like I stepped into a different place which had less noise, less contact and less thoughts. Later, when I contemplated on this, I tried to understand if this was a change in Vedana I experienced, or was it a change in Sanya that I experienced, or was it both? Theruvan Saranai.
Yeah, I think maybe the both anyway, because yang vedeti tan sanjanat. So basically you are going through some sort of feeling, and that is what ultimately you are recognizing. So these are fairly interrelated. So both the cause, making these two are the same cause, the passa pacca vedana, passa pacca sanya. So the contact actually varies. So as we are continuing our practice, so the contact, what is generating, is varying, and accordingly the corresponding vedana of the feeling is generated, accordingly the perception is generated, accordingly a kind of a thought could be generated. So likewise, it happens concurrently. We can't say that the vedana happens first, perception happens next. Rather, everything happens concurrently. The rupa, vedana, sanya, sankhara, vijnana. But the point is that among those 5, we may give prominence to one particular thing. in a particular time, sometimes thought may appear more strong than the perception, than the feeling. On other occasion, feeling may appear more gross, more prominent than the perception, than the thought. So likewise, these among the 5 aggregates, different aggregates can become prominent, but all are there, and those are also instantaneous. So we don't need to think that they are continuously there, instantaneous. Very difficult to understand in a way. Now that's why even today morning that someone was asking several questions. So is this consciousness continuous? What do you think? Consciousness is also not continuous. It is also arising and passing away. Because of its rapid succession, we perceive it as continuous. So it's very difficult actually. That's why we need very sharp mindfulness, concentration to look at how these things are arising and passing away. Say in Kayanupassana, you are paying close attention to various bodily phenomena. So now the bodily phenomena start arising and passing away, rather than we think that the body exists for a long time. Because that is what we feel right now maybe. So say for me, say here you are there, isn't it? The body doesn't change. So body is there. But if you go through meditation, say through Vipassana, you are having very sharp mindfulness, concentration, and now you are paying attention to different bodily characteristics, say element characteristics. Now they are quickly arising and passing away. Various feelings are there. They are also quickly arising and passing away. Maybe perception, they are also arising and passing away. Thoughts, they are also coming and going. Now you are getting the correct picture, but not in the typical mundane time. During the typical mundane time, we think, okay, things are there. I can see. No change. You are there. I can hear. So no much change. So likewise, so sometimes we may end up with that delusions, what we call as the vipallasa. What is really available is completely inconstant, impermanent, but what we perceive appear like permanent. What is available is really intrinsically suffering, but we perceive it as happiness. Intrinsically what is available is non-self, but we perceive it as self. As that yogi mentioned, trapped. Completely distorted views we have. So the Vipassana helps us to, untangle this, recognize the true reality, go into deeper and see how impermanent they are, how unsatisfactory they are, how non-governable, non-self they are. So we are slowly untangling the whole, the knot. Yeah.
If the yogi needs to discuss further, can raise your hand. Report number 3. Theruwan Saranai Swamin Vahansa. ඔබ වහන්සේ දෙන උපදෙස් පරිදි පුහුණු වීම කරයි. පරයන්ක භාවනාවේදී නාසයේ හුස්ම රැල්ලට වඩා සංවේදීතාවයන් පෙනෙයි. හුස්ම රැල්ල පිට වෙන ආකාරයත් ඇතුල් වෙන ආකාරයත් බලමින් යන විට එය සියුම්ව වැටහෙයි. එහි බර බව සැහැල්ලු බව දැනේ. තවමත් මට ප්‍රශ්නයක් වී තිබෙන්නේ ආනාපාන සතියෙන් විදර්ශනාවට කොහොමද හැරෙන්නේ යන්නයි. එදිනදා වැඩ සතියෙන් කිරීමට උත්සාහ දරයි. ගරු ස්වාමීන් වහන්ස පහදා දෙන ලෙස දෙපා නැමද ඉල්ලා සිටිමි. ඔබ වහන්සේට උතුම් චතුරාර්ය සත්‍යම ලැබේවා.
හොඳයි. නෑ උතින් ආනාපාන සතියෙන් අපි විපස්සනාවට වඩන එක පොඩ්ඩක් වෙන්න දෙන්න. ඒක පාටම අපි ආනාපාන සතිය මුලදී වඩද්දී මෙන්න මේකෙන් මෙහෙමයි විපස්සනා වෙන්නේ කියලා කල්පනා කරන්න ගියොත් මේකත් අවුල් වෙනවා. ආනාපාන සතියෙන් යන්න පුළුවන් ක්‍රම කීපයක් තියෙනවා. දැන් හුඟක් දෙනෙකුට ආනාපාන සතියෙන් ඒකම විතරක් හරහා යන හුඟක් දෙනෙක් ආනාපාන සතිය හරහා නිකන් හැදෙනවා. ඒක කියන්නේ හිතන්න දැන් අපිට හොඳට මුලදී හුස්ම රැල්ලට හිත එකඟ වෙනවා. ඊට පස්සේ මේකේ දිග කොටද මේ කොහෙද ස්පර්ශ වෙන්නේ මේක උණුසුම්ද සිසිල්ද ඒ වගේ අර විස්තර ටික පේන්න ගන්නවා. ඊට පස්සේ හොඳට මේ ටික නිකන් මේ මොකද්ද තැම්පත් වීමකට ලක් වෙනවා. දැන් නිකන් හුස්ම නොපෙනී ගිහිල්ලා වගේ. කය නිකන් නොදැනී ගිහිල්ලා. හරිම සැහැල්ලුවක් දැනෙනවා. ඒ සැහැල්ලුව කියන්නේ ඔන්න ඊට පස්සේ ආයි ප්‍රීතියක්, පස්සද්ධියක්, අපි කියන හරි සංසිඳීමක්, සැහැල්ලුවක්, ප්‍රීති සහගත බවක්. දැන් ඉතින් අර වේදනා පැත්තක් පහළ වෙනවා. ඒ හැබැයි සුඛ වේදනා. අපි කලින් ගත කරේ කාය මූලික කරගත්ත ප්‍රදේශයක කායानुපස්සනාවක දැන් අපි නිකන් පිවිසෙනවා වේදනානුපස්සනාවකට. මොකද මේ දැනෙන්නේ හරිම සුවදායක වේදනා. හරිම සනීපයි. කායික දරතයක් මොකක්වත් නැහැ. කයින් මුලින් දැනිච්ච මේ අපහසුකම් මොකක්වත් නැහැ. රිදුම් කැක්කුම් මොකක්වත් නැහැ. නිකන් පා වෙනවා වගේ හරිම සනීපයක් තියෙනවා. සුවයක් තියෙනවා. නැත්නම් බුදුහාඳුරෝ කියන දැන් ඉතින් ඕකට ලොල් වෙන්න එපා. ඔය ඇවිල්ලා වේදනාවේ ස්වභාවය. අහලා තියෙනවනේ වේදනාවේ ಜಾති තුනක් තියෙනවා කියලා නේද? සැප වේදනා, දුක් වේදනා, උපේක්ෂා වේදනා තියෙනවා කියලා. දැන් ඒතකොට මේ අත්දකින්නේ සැප වේදනා. ඒතකොට නිරාමිස සැපයක් දැන් තියෙනවා. නිරාමිස ප්‍රීතියක් තියෙනවා. ඒතකොට මේ නිරාමිස ප්‍රීතිය ඒක ප්‍රීතියක්. ඒක මේ මගේ ප්‍රීතිය නෙමෙයි. ඒකත් මේ හුදෙක් ප්‍රීති සහගත තත්ත්වයක්. ඉතින් බුදුරජාණන් වහන්සේ කියන ඔන්න බලන්න පීතිපටි සංවේදී සුඛපටි සංවේදී කියලා ඒක එතන තියලා බලන්න. දැන් මගේ කරගන්න යන්න එපා. මේකේ අතරේ පොඩි ඩිස්ටන්ස් එකක් මේන්ටේන් කරලා පොඩි ගැප් එකක් තියාගෙන හරිනේ අනුන්ගේ ප්‍රීතියක් බලනවා වගේ. වෙන කෙනෙක් නිකන් සතුටු වෙන්නේ හිතන දැන් පුංචි දරුවෙක් hina වෙනවා. බලන්නේ නිකන් අර අම්මා කෙනෙක් දකින්නවා මේ පුංචි දරුවා තොටිලේ ඉඳන් ලස්සනට hina වෙනවා සතුටින් ඉන්නවා. ඒතර වෙන කෙනෙක්ගේ සතුටක්නේ අපි මේ දකින්නේ නේද? අන්න ඒ වගේ අපිට එතකොට බලන්න පුළුවන් මේ කය තුල දැන් යම්සි සතුටක් පහළලා තියෙනවා. කය නිකන් hina වෙනවා. ඒක බලනවා පැත්තකින් ඉඳන් මේ කොහොමද මේ hina වෙන්නේ? කොහොමද මේ වෙනස් වෙන්නේ? කොහොමද මේ සතුටු වෙන්නේ? කොහොමද මේ ප්‍රීතිය අඩු වැඩි වෙන්නේ? ඒක දිහා බලනවා අර මේ බලන දෘෂ්ටි කෝණය තමයි වෙනස්. ඊට පස්සේ දැන් ඔහොම කරගෙන යනකොට ඊට පස්සේ දැන් ඒව ටිකක් සමනය වෙනවා. විවිධ සංඥා එන්න පුළුවන්. අපි තුන් ඒකටත් අහුනේ නැහැ. එහෙනම් ඔන්න වේදනානුපස්සනා කොටස සෑහෙන දුරට සම්පූර්ණ වෙනවා. ඊට පස්සේ හිත දිහා බලන්න පුළුවන්. කාගේද මේ ප්‍රශ්නේ? හරි. එතකොට මේ ඊට පස්සේ හිත දිහා බලන්න පුළුවන්. එතකොට මේ හිත දිහා බලන යන ගමනේදී තමයි දැන් ඊට පස්සේ සිතුවිලි වලට අපි රැවටෙන්නේ නැතුව ඒවා පොඩ අතහැරි ගිහිල්ලා අන්තිමට සිතුවිලි වලින් හිත නිදහස් කරගන්නා මට්ටමට ආවනම් දැන් ඉතින් තනිකර මේ විපස්සනාවක් කතා කරන්නේ. හතර හතිපට්ඨානයක් ආනාපාන සතිය මූලික කරගෙන වඩන රටාවක් මේ කතා කරන්නේ. හැබැයි ඕකම නෙමෙයි හැමෝටම වෙන්නේ. ඒකයි සිද්ධිය. ඒතකොට අපිට මේ මුල් මට්ටමේදී මම මේ හුස්ම රැලි ටිකක් බලද්දි මම දන්නේ නැහැ තාම මගේ විපස්සනා කොහොමද අනාගතේ වැඩෙන්නේ කියලා. ඒක දැම්ම කියන්න බෑ. එතකොට මම දැනට කරගෙන යන විදිහට යමු. පස්සේ හිතන්න ආනාපාන සතියෙන් ගිහිල්ලා සමාහට හුස්ම රැල්ල හොඳට සංසිඳෙද්දි මේ කායික වශයෙන් විවිධාකාර සංවේදනා පහළ වෙන්න ගන්නවා. ඒක ස්වාභාවිකවම වෙනවා. මම හිතලා ගැනීමක් නෙමෙයි ස්වාභාවිකව වෙන්න ගන්න. එතකොට රංගාන අනිත් පැත්තට මාරු කළා ආයි ධාතු මනසිකාරය දාලා යන්නයි තියෙන්නේ. එතකොට හරියටම ආනාපාන සතියෙන් අර ට්‍රැක් එකේම යන්න ඕනේ කියලා නීතියක් නැහැ. ඒකම මට වෙයි කියලා කියන්නත් බෑ. unpredictable. ඒ කියන්නේ අපිට මුකුත් පෙර සූදානමකින් විපස්සනා වෙන්න මෙහෙමයි මට ඉදිරියේදී වැඩෙන්නේ කියලා එහෙම පෙර සූදානමක් ගන්න බෑ. මට තියෙන එන පැත්ත බලාගෙන පොඩ්ඩක් සාකච්ඡා කරගෙන කමඨාන සුද්ධ කරගෙන එහෙම දාලා යන්නයි තියෙන්නේ. ලොකු සානන්ස එහෙම කියන්නේ වැල යන පැත්තට වැස්ස ගහන්න තියෙන්නේ. හරි ඉන්ටරෙස්ටිං. හරි සුන්දරයි ඉතින්. ඒ කියන්නේ unpredictable නේද? එන විදිහ බලලා ඒක කොහොමද වැඩෙන්නේ? අනුව ඒක පොඩ්ඩක් සුසර කිරීමක් නිකන් ටියුන් කිරීමක්. පාර හදාගෙන යන්නයි තියෙන්නේ. පාර හදලා යන්න එකක් නැහැ. එහෙම එකක් නෙමෙයි මේක. අපි නොගිය පාරක පාර හදාගෙන යන්නයි තියෙන්නේ. හරි.
Report number 4. Most Venerable Bhante, in Satipatthana Vivarana program on the second sermon on Kayanupassana section, you mentioned that once you properly establish yourself in mindful sitting and practice on 4 Anupassanas, one can start from any Anupassana like one day Kayanupassana, the other day Vedananupassana, on another day Chittanupassana and Dhammanupassana. Does this mean that you just sit and watch whatever appear in front of you?
Actually, it depends on your practice. I mean, you can't say that it is a common possibility for everyone. So you need to have a fair amount of understanding, a practical experience of both on all 4 areas before you come to that stage. We can't say a beginner can do that. Now, you can start with watching the thoughts, but ultimately you get trapped in it. You are being driven by that. So the best thing is to start with the body, by the way. But once you are familiar with all 4, then you can start with anything. Because you are confident, you already has practiced Kayanupassana, you have some experience gained through that. You have practiced Vedananupassana, you have gained something from that. You go through Chittanupassana, Dhammanupassana, quite similar and little advanced Dhammanupassana section we can say. So now you can deal with anything. No problem. So anyway, I mean, it doesn't mean that one of them is better than the other. All are equally powerful.
Please correct me if I am wrong. In my understanding, one Kayanupassana is watching the manifestation of the breath stroke bodily phenomena. Number 2, Vedananupassana is watching the feelings of the body such as peaceful states, pains, good feelings, irritations, vibrations, painful feelings, pleasurable feelings, and equanimous feelings. Chittanupassana is watching the thoughts appearing during the sitting. Can you please explain what happens during Dhammanupassana? Much merits to you for all the guidance, Bhante.
So that I need to little correct on the Vedananupassana part. So you have only mentioned about the bodily feelings, but it includes the mental feelings as well. We just discussed in Anapanasati, so you feel happy. Isn't it a feeling? That also comes under the feeling. So therefore, feelings are there. I mean, we can start with the bodily feelings, of course, true. And then slowly you can recognize, okay, there are, mind also go through some pleasant times and sometimes not really pleasant, little depressed, little, dropped, little despair is there, little unhappiness is there. So that is another moment of feeling available in the mind. So mind also go through the feelings. So actually when we consider Vedana, so there are sometimes we call as Samisa Vedana and Niramisa Vedana. What are they? Any idea? What are Samisa Vedana? What are Niramisa Vedana? Now say for example, you are seeing something, you are watching a movie. Say it is very beautiful and it is really happy. So you gain some happiness. So happiness is a feeling, right? So it's a Samisa. So you gain through the indriyas, the faculties, but it's a kind of a mundane kind of happiness. Say you are practicing Anapanasati. Now your eyes are closed. Assume no sounds and you are simply now with your body. Now the Anapanasati become very subtle and ultimately you feel quite happy. Maybe really blissful. This is also feeling. So now how did you gain that? Completely kind of unworldly kind of happiness. Not through your senses. Senses are fairly shut down. Almost like. So now these are fairly mental in a way. So you have gone through this practice and now it has generated this Niramisa Piti, Niramisa Sukha. Piti Patisangiti, Sukha Patisangiti, all are mind related. Fairly. So therefore in the Vedananupassana, even though we start with bodily sensations, bodily feelings, you can later navigate through the mind, recognizing feelings, and now you may catch even the perceptions and even catch the thoughts. That means we are now jump into the Chittanupassana. Now they are naturally flowing forward. We don't need to have a clear-cut boundary. Okay, I should work on this. Not necessary. Let them naturally unfold, naturally grow to the next levels. No problem. And the Dhammanupassana also very similar in the sense that say at the beginning you have recognized a particular thought, say a lustful thought. So you know that it is available there now. Lustful thought has arisen. Fine. So you are observing that and then you understand, okay, it has disappeared. Fine, it has gone. Later you may have little bit more understanding. Okay, right now I have no lust. Fine. But now just the first thought of lust is coming. Just the beginning of lust is there. You can even notice that the beginning of lust. And you can feel that kind of persistence of the lust, and you can see the passing away, depleting, fading away of the lust. Now no lust. So how are you categorizing? The first part belongs to the Chittanupassana, the second part belongs to Dhammanupassana, where you get a clear picture. In the Dhammanupassana section, where all the different facets of this lust is shown to you, known to you. Because you have a very sharp faculty, very good concentration, and so you can recognize even when there is no lust, you know. When there is lust, when the beginning of lust, you also know. Presence of it, also know. When it is fading away, also know. And once it is gone, also known. Something like that. So I used to say a good example. Actually, I heard it from a venerable monk. He is called Sayadaw U Jotika, Burmese Sayadaw. So he used to say, now you are given me 2 drinks. So I can recognize, okay, these are 2 drinks. Say this is, assume that this is anyway a tea. Assume this is a coffee. So 2 drinks are there. I can recognize that. Later I taste tea. Then I recognize, okay, it has tea, of course. it has, it may be hot. It has, you have added some more sugar or less sugar, or you have added maybe little ginger. All these ingredients level you can recognize. Maybe into the coffee, you have added some amount of sugar, some amount of coffee, some amount of maybe hot, cold, all that. So individually, now you are going further and further, deeper, and you are coming to the very, very subtle characteristics. So that is very much like Dhammanupassana. But the very first stage that you recognize, okay, this is tea, this is coffee, that is very much like Chittanupassana. So you are not yet gone to the subtle details, but you still distinctly recognize, okay, two different types are there. Something like that. So, but anyway, these things are naturally happening. So we don't need to have a clear-cut boundary. Okay, this is exactly this, exactly that. So, if you are working out on Chittanupassana, naturally, if you are continuing your practice, you may come to this second level. Something like that. Dhamma will takes you up. That is the, one property of Dhamma, Opanayika. That the Opanayika, the quality referred to Dhamma. What does it mean? Opanayiko කියනවා නේද අපි ධර්මයේ වන්දනා කරද්දී නේද? සාඛාතෝ භගවතා ධම්මෝ සම්දිට්ඨිකෝ අකාලිකෝ ඒහි පස්සිකෝ ඕපනයිකෝ. හිතලා බැලුවද මොකක්ද ඕපනයිකෝ කියන්නේ කියලා? නැත්නම් ඔහේ කියනවද? මන්ත්‍රේ කියනවා වගේ කියනවා දන්නෙත් නැහැ වචන මොනවද කියන්නේ කියලා නේද? So ඕපනයිකෝ means now whoever practicing Dhamma will be taken by the Dhamma to the next levels. It's a characteristic of Dhamma. It's not that you are doing it, but Dhamma is, taking you to next levels. It's very kind of a natural unfolding happens in the mind. So that's the beauty of Dhamma. So you don't need to struggle. You don't need to struggle thinking, I should come to that level, I should come to that level. Dhamma will take you when you are in the present moment, when you are doing the practice. You may reach next level naturally because of the momentum gathered through the Dhamma. How beautiful it is. That's it.
So Bhante, during Chittanupassana, that means you will be just watching your thoughts. It's coming, going, you are just watching the flow.
Correct.
But later it will come a stage that you will have more time to analyze these thoughts.
And the rate of thoughts also very less.
Very less.
So the thoughts appear one after the other, giving enough time for you to experiment.
Okay.
So because thought now in the Chittanupassana level, they may be coming very close one after the other. So you distinctly recognize, I have five fingers. Okay, fine. This is this thing. This is this thing. This is this thing. Okay, it has gone. But later, it's as a result of my further practice, now they appear like little, dismantled. And now I can see clearly about all the characteristics of this, all the characteristics of this. So likewise, because now enough space is there. One thought come and go, a little space. Another thought coming and going, little space. So your mind become more spacious, giving you further opportunity to understand, and ultimately all thoughts are gone. Just be. Don't invite thoughts. That's all. Good.
Yeah. Questions for the audience?
All the experts are here, nothing to worry. Most of you are quite familiar here now, and I know that most of you are doing really well, so nothing to worry. So, as a group, I am quite happy that many of you have come to a kind of a deeper path, and most of you have recognized the path, navigating through that individually. That's it. That's what we need.
Through your guidance, Bhante.
Now, how many years we were doing this? 7 years. Wow. Somehow managing, isn't it? Bhante Dhammajiva these days on a foreign trip, now in Brisbane. Yeah, now in Brisbane. So, he's coming for something. Yeah.
If you can relate that story about one day retreat, you said about that Nasruddin story about a bag of chilies. If you can relate it to them, that's very good.
I think it is Nasruddin. Yeah. So one time you might have heard about Nasruddin, kind of a character. So his stories actually gives us some indications about our foolishness sometimes. So he has a bag of chilies, and he's eating one and now sweating, and he's eating another one, further sweating, he's eating another one, now snoring, another one, now tears, another one, further tears. So one of his friends come and ask, "Why are you eating chilies?" So he simply said, "I'm looking for a sweet chili." I'm looking for a sweet chili. So then the other friends say, "Okay, don't you know that chilies are always, it's very hot?" No, there could be a sweet chili. You never know. So our Bhavatanha basically keep us following all different phenomena, all different activities, expecting a sweet chili. So Bhavatanha plays a vital role, a great role. So we think, okay, this exam I failed, let me try another exam, I may be able to go through, fine. Okay, this marriage I failed, let me try a different marriage, I may go through. Let me have one session meditation, okay, next time I'll be okay. It is in a way necessary, because that is how we are motivated, that is how we are going through. The importance of practice is that ultimately the practice helps to fade away that greedy, that desire, that affection, or that bhavatanha itself. Tanhang nissaya tanha pahatabbo. So Buddha says, using craving to abandon craving. So you have a desire that I am going to end craving. Very interesting, that's a very beautiful Dhammapada verse is there in the Buddha Vagga. What's that? Api dibbesu kamesu ratingso nadi gacchati tanhakke rato hoti samma sambuddha savaka. Api dibbesu kamesu ratingso nadi gacchati. Now there are really beautiful, really fantastic sensual pleasures. Not only in the human realm, but even in the celestial realm. Api dibbesu kamesu. Dibba kama means that even a celestial level of really excellent kama, the pleasures. Api dibbesu kamesu ratingso nadi gacchati. So this disciple, he is not fond of even that, but he is fond of tanhakke rato hoti, abandoning, the fading away, complete extinction of tanha. Tanhakke rato hoti. Who? Samma Sambuddha Savako, the disciple of the Samma Sambuddha. Really, these are really, giving us a kind of a direction where we need to move forward. It may be pleasurable, we maybe experience something, okay, we had nice food and ice cream and this and that, good, fine. It can only give us a little taste, temporary satisfaction. But what we look forward is ultimately has to be aimed at tanhakke rato. Abandoning of all the desires, abandoning of this craving, to have a mind free from craving. So typically what we do is, when craving happens, when desires are there, so we want to quickly satisfy it. Because it gives us a little frustration that I want to satisfy, I want to see that movie, I want to hear that song, I want to talk to her, I want to talk to him, I couldn't talk to him for a long time, didn't have a nice chat, let me call him, let me email, let me write a post to WhatsApp. What's that? No. Facebook. Let me have YouTube. Many things are there. So always we are driven by desires. The desires are the ones, very much put us like slaves. But the other side is what we need to slowly operate on. When desires are there, can we recognize it? Very difficult. Very difficult. Because immediately we want to quickly satisfy the desire instead of recognizing and ignoring it. You know that dukkha samudaya satcha? Dukkha samudaya satcha is the tanha. And how we need to function on tanha is dukkha samudayang ariya satchang pahatabba. You need to abandon the dukkha samudaya, the craving, the tanha. So when desires are there, instead of fulfilling them, are we able to abandon them? Recognizing it's a desire and ignoring it, diminishing it, letting it go. Something like that. And on the other hand, there's another interesting phenomena. Now say for example, now very beautiful verse is there in Anguttara Nikaya Nibbedika Sutta. Nate kamayani chitrani loke sankapparago purisassa kamo. Heard about it? Nate kamayani chitrani loke. Monks, all these beautiful, fantastic things in the world are not the real karma. So what is karma then? Nate kamayani chitrani loke sankapparago purisassa kamo. You have various thoughts about them, imaginations about them. I am going to have that. I am going to have next time also that particular, that interesting movie. I am going to watch that. Today I went through that, teledrama, this episode. Next time they have kind of a hook. Next week also I am looking forward to that. So now you are imagining about it. What is going to happen next time? Will they meet Ahimsa and West Pathum? Will they meet? Today, this time they couldn't. So the sankapparaga. So that is what motivating you. That is what promoting more thinking. Not that really that during that time you may simply watching. But afterward, the second thoughts, the third thinking, proliferation, so that is the one driving us. So therefore, while eating food, if you can recognize taste, fine, recognize that. But how about ending of that session? As she said, say you drank water, no taste at all now. Can you just keep as it is without having thoughts about what you ate? That's great then. So, whatever we are anticipating, generate thoughts. Whatever we have had nice time, also generate thoughts. So, this generation of thoughts is the one binding us more than when we are really, during that time we had a nice time, fine. When you are eating food, it's delicious, fine. Say, I am talking to someone, it gives me a little pleasure, fine. Okay, I am watching a movie, okay, it's also beautiful, fine. But with respect to that movie, are you generating further thoughts, imaginations? And are there any, episodes reappearing in your mind? Are you reliving that experience? Are you imagining that particular experience? So those are the real traps. Say, for example, you have heard a song. Say a real, romantic song, fine. Beautiful. And after that, what happened? It's a really romantic song, beautiful, the sounds are classic, and the duet and the lyrics also really good. You enjoy it to the maximum, so it's finished. Now, so probably you are applying that experience to yourself. How I was at that time, how I was with him, how I was with her, having this kind of a time, how, my goodness, So now you are reliving that experience through your own mind. That is where we get trapped. That song already finished. You have heard it, it's gone, no sound at all. But now you are reliving or imagining a new kind of an experience. So that is the real culprit. So if we can stop that proliferating part, so that is a real advantage. So that is a real progress in our practice. Sankappa rago purisasakamo. So therefore Buddha mentioned Titthanti chitrani tatheva loke atetta dhira vinayanti chanda. So let the all beautiful things stay in the world as it is. Don't destroy them. Don't delete the good songs. Atetta dhira vinayanti chanda. The person, the dhira, the wise person who intends his own welfare, he tames his desire. He tames his desire, not that object. Now say there are people who want, say, women to wear nicely. You should never wear this thing, that thing, you have to wear all the long clothes and this and that. So the world has to be flat. So that's like that. So rather than doing that, so how about you have controlled desire? You have seen the desire and how your desires are appearing when you see a woman. How you recognize that desire and abandoning that. Can you ask all the women in the world to wear nice clothes? it will not happen. You can't do it. So similarly, so when someone is with, half naked or whatever it is, so when those thoughts appear in you, those desires appear in you, how lust appear in you, if you can recognize that, so then abandon that lust. Don't go through the thoughts, don't promote thinking, don't promote fantasies in the mind. So that is the real task actually. Sankappa rago purisasakamo. So all that sankappa raga, all that imagined sensual pleasures, imagined fantasies, sensual fantasies, sexual fantasies, and all these blah blah things are there. So that is the real culprit. Take us to the real, bhavatanha. All these imaginations filled with thinking, overthinking, imaginations. So actually that's why we need to understand this thinking is a real disaster unless we are handling it properly. We can actually discuss today this during the Dhamma sermon also. It also has some part of it. Okay, then don't think to, there's someone who thought something. Please come forward.
We talk of let. In practice we say about let go.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you practice
let go? So you let go. You let go the question. Right. Please keep the mic. Go, switch on. Correct. Let go. Yeah, very interesting. How do I do letting go? So that is why, the mindfulness practice helps you to understand, when thoughts are coming, it is not possible at the early stages. So you need, that's why, assume that there is a lustful thought. And you don't know how to overcome that. So since you can't directly confront that, what you can do is you can simply pay attention to the body. So the body slowly changes and then ultimately the lust also gone. Maybe anger also gone. Because you have diverted your attention, you didn't promote that. So ultimately it has gone. That is one way of letting go. One methodology, one strategy. At the beginning, say these thoughts are powerful, you can't directly confront. And therefore you are paying attention to the body as a strategy to divert your attention, and ultimately thoughts are gone. Thoughts have let go of. And maybe at a later time, once you reach Chittanupassana, so you have the capacity to see that thoughts have the characteristics of arising and passing away, coming and going. You are not promoting it, and you are not getting trapped in it. You are not being deluded by thoughts. So that is a skill that slowly have to build up in the yogi's mind. At that time, you don't need to divert your attention to the body. Rather, when a lustful thought is there, rather an anger thought is there, so you can simply see how lust is coming, how anger is coming. That mere seeing would be enough for it to pass away, because you are not supporting it, you are not trapped in it, or kind of feeding it, fertilizing it. So it itself can't sustain then. It will naturally fade away. So letting go become more easy then. Once you reach Chittanupassana and Dhammanupassana, so thoughts are coming, fine, but you can simply let it be, and they by themselves have the characteristics to pass away. Because all these phenomena, mental phenomena, bodily phenomena, have intrinsic characteristics that they come just for going. They can never stay longer unless we promote them, unless we add to them, multiply them. So once we stop that fabrication, once we stop that multiplication, feeding them or getting deluded by them, once we stop that, so they naturally fade away. Naturally they let go. It's not that you are pushing them away. Rather, they naturally coming and you are watching and they are going.
Yes, I understand, but what I'm trying to say is as layman, right?
Yeah, all are, laymen.
I think I feel the practice of letting go is not that easy.
Yeah. Not easy.
What is it basically? What we have to do is to develop mindfulness. Once you develop mindfulness and awareness, it's probably
It will happen.
it will happen naturally.
Correct. Yeah, keep practicing. Yeah. Please, can you use the mic?
I have heard Navune Aryadhamma Thero was mentioning we have to think about under the Dhammanupassana two things. One is Sapta Bojjhanga, and also regarding the Nissarana Dharma. This is not an argument or anything, just to get it clarified. So is there any relationship between that and what you said?
Yeah. The thing is, I just explained the Nissarana. I have taken example from the Nissarana. Now say, as an example, lustful thought or angry thought. So we simply say thoughts are coming and going at the level of Chittanupassana. Later you recognize in the Dhammanupassana, okay, when there is no lust, when there is no anger, that also you can know. When the very first thought of anger arising, that also you can know. And when it exists, that also you can know. And how it is passing away, that also you can know. And once it's gone, no lust now, no anger now, that also you can know. That is in the Nissarana pub of Dhammanupassana. And Dhammanupassana actually has five such pabbas. Five such, different practices. The first one is the Nissaranas, the hindrances. Next one is the khandhas, the aggregates. Next the bojjhangas, then the ayatanas, and ultimately the Four Noble Truths. So these are different areas so for you to further strengthen your practice. So bojjhangas are, as you mentioned, is one part of it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, then if there is no other question, we almost completed 1 hour. Then we'll wind up the session here. And as usual, we'll have the Dhamma sermon at 4 p.m. Thank you very much for participation.